Okay, let's create this stock app. Go ahead and open up your Android Studio, start a new Android Studio project. Go ahead and grab empty. Next. Let's call this one stocks with a S. Capital S-T-O-C-K-S. Just like that. It should have created, once again, your package name for you, saved it in a certain location, language Java, and yes, API 15, finish, just like that. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. There we go. In our activity main, okay, we should see there's that nasty old, what is it, hello world text view, okay? This week, rather than having you create and slide things around, stuff like that, I'm showing you all the widgets we're going to add. I'm going to give you the code because I want to save some time for other things. Go ahead and copy that code just like that. Make sure you get everything. Don't miss a line. Okay, you might want to zoom in a little bit to get it. And go back into your text view of your activity main. Make sure you're in your text view of your activity main. Control A, Control V, and paste it right in there. And if you got an error, you must have missed a line. Okay? Wonderful. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take and add some strings, an array, a couple arrays of strings. This code right here, Control C that. Okay, and we're going to put that in our strings.xml. We did this with capital and states, didn't we? Okay. And if we go into our resources down here, go into our values like that, double click on string, sure enough, right there. This, once again, is actually the name of your app, and this is how you change the name of your app on your app where it says, in this case, it's going to say stocks, okay? Go ahead and paste it in. You shouldn't have any errors in there. The first array is called stock name. It actually has the names of all the stocks. These are going to show up in our spinner, okay? Once again, a spinner is a lot like what we've been using in a list view. However, when you select one item, the whole thing collapses and all you see is just that one item. It works a lot like a list view. The second one is called stock symbol and exchange. You're going to see with this one, you're going to see the symbol, GM, and then the symbol for the stock exchange for each one of these. You notice how this one here, position 0, actually is the same as position 0 here. And IBM is position 1, and Facebook is position 2, and so on and so on. Good. Let's go back to here. We're going to take and add some code, okay? We'll type this code in this time. And what we're going to do is we're going to start out with some global variables, okay? Activity, or main activity.java right there. This is where you put your global variables, and the nice thing about global variables, you can use them any place in this class, okay? The first one is going to be a list of string type. We use these to store our capitals in and our Spanish words, didn't we? Okay, and we're going to call the first one stock names, like that, semicolon. It doesn't like list because we have to import that. Click on list, Alt and enter like that. Wonderful. And if you look inside of here, we just added this one right there. We imported that. Wonderful. Let's create another one. A list, once again, of string again. And we're going to take and call this one list or stock. What is it? Oh, find it right there, symbol. And exchange, okay, because it's going to hold that other list, isn't it? That array. And exchange. Like that, semicolon. Wonderful. Okay. And then we're also going to create a global to hold the current stock exchange and stock symbol, okay? And stock symbol, semicolon, like that, okay? Now we're going to add this one more. We haven't added our class stock variable, our values yet. That's going to be coming in time, but let's go ahead and just type this in because that way when we need it later on, all we have to do is unremark it, okay? values. That's not very good, is it? Values like that. Beautiful. Okay, now we want to play with our, first of all, we got to fill up these arrays, okay? We got to take this and fill these arrays up right underneath our set content view, okay? We're going to say our stock names right there is equal to, and we got to use that arrays class dot as list because we want to put that array into a list, okay? And then get resources dot get string arrays. And where are we going to get that from? Our r dot array dot which one? Stock name right there, semicolon. What that's going to do, it's going to go into our strings. It's going to put all that information into this array right here. Let's do the same thing with the next one down. Stock symbol and exchange is equal to arrays dot as list get resources dot get string array and r dot array dot stock, right, the second one down this time, symbol and exchange, semicolon, just like that. Beautiful. Okay, next thing we want to do is we want to play with our spinners, so we have to take and give that spinner an alias, don't we? Spinner, of course, says, what's a spinner? I don't know. Click on it, hit Alt-Enter, and import that class for spinner. And we're going to call this our spinner stock name, because that's what I called it when I added it to my activity, okay? And it's going to be equal to, I have to cast as a spinner, and I'm going to say find right there r.id.spinner, right, oh, there it is, right there, semicolon. And now I want to make an array adapter. Remember array adapters? Right there it is. I see it down there, right there. Array adapter is equal to a new array adapter right there. Array adapters, once again, allow us to put information from a list, okay, into, or excuse me, from an array into this array adapter, and that we can use that adapter to fill up our spinner. Okay. Anyway, new array adapter, and I got to first tell it all this, and Android. I got to tell it the Android dot r dot layout right there dot simple spinner. There you go. That's how you describe your array adapter, okay? And then we have to say comma. We have to say what we're going to put in there. We're going to put our stock names, and I'm going to wrap this so you can see it in just a minute. Okay, I'm going to wrap that right here. I think I can wrap it. Hit enter right there. Yep, like that. That simple spinner drop-down item, comma, and then stock names, and that way it knows to put those stock names. Oh, now I got to tell my spinner, go ahead, spinner dot set adapter, right there it is, and which adapter, we're going to say array adapter right there, just like that. So now all that information will go into my spinner. Now I got to make a listener for my spinner, don't I? Spinner dot set on, right there it is, selected list item selected listener right there. Type in new and then a capital A, and it should pop up. You should hit enter. It should build that whole little thing for you. Now it creates two methods for you. Okay, one is when you click on something. The other one says when nothing is selected. We aren't going to use this one, but we'll just leave it set there anyway. That's okay, no problem. So now what we got to do is got to find out what our stock symbol is right here. And that's going to be equal to our stock symbol and exchange dot get. We got to get a certain one I. This is going to give us the number of the element in our spinner that we selected, I, and then dot split. I'll talk about split here for just a minute, okay? If we go look at our strings, you're going to see it's split by a space here. Split is a really cool Java string method that will take and look for a split, and if there's a split, it'll divide us in two different elements, okay? So I have element 0, element 1. So split on quotation mark space like that. Okay, now the only thing is I got to put parentheses around this whole thing to grab this element out of here, like that. And of course, square brackets tells you that it's an element out of this array of items that I split out of there. I got two things. First one's 0. Excuse me. The second one is going to be 1. So this stock exchange right there is going to be kind of the same thing. Parenthesis, stock symbol, exchange dot get I dot split. And we're going to split on quotation mark space. And then, of course, on the outside of this square box, bracket, you guessed it, a 1. Yep, a 1. That's what we got to put in there. Like that. So now we know what those two things are, okay? Phew, wonderful. Let's see, what do we got to do next here? I forget. Let's see, we coded that. Okay. Did we add our JSoup yet? No, we didn't. Okay. If we go back into Blackboard, okay. By the way, if you want to run it right now, you can try it. It's going to show a spinner with a bunch of things in it. When you select something, it's just not going to really do anything. But you can try running it now and make sure that it works. Anyway, if you go back into Blackboard for this assignment, it still says jokes. It's going to say stocks there in time. Right-click on JSoup, save link as, and put that on your desktop for me, okay? Easy place to get it. Desktop. I'm gonna say cancel because I already downloaded it, okay? Same thing for stock values here, okay? Save link as, desktop, save, and that should put them right here for you, okay? Right there. Beautiful. The JSoup is the one that actually takes and does all the work for us, okay? I didn't write it. Somebody else wrote this really cool class. It allows us to take and download a whole web page, puts it into like a document. It's kind of like a Word document. Then you can sort through it and you can say, aha, I want this little piece of information. I want this little piece of information. And that's what JSoup does for us. Fortunately, we don't have to worry about that because I wrote the code, so no problem. Go stretch this back out again. Drop this down. To put that JSoup in there, we have to select project, okay? Once again, I took and dropped this down, grab project, open up stocks, open up app, and we're going to slip it right into here. So I'm going to right click on my JSoup class right here, or .jar, and copy that. And then I'm going to take my cursor and I'm going to take and add it to my libs right here, my libraries. Right click on libs and say paste. Go ahead and say yes, I want to put that in my libs. Now once it's in there, it's not quite ready yet. We have to take and add it as a library, okay? So right click on jsoup.jar. Down to the bottom here, it's going to say add as library and say okay. Wonderful. Switch our Project Explorer back over to, drop this arrow down, back to the Android view. Right click on the stock values class.java file I gave you. Right click on that, say copy. It's going to go right here. It's going to go in the same place as your main activity. So I'm going to right click on the line just above it. Yours should have your name on it, huh? Click and say paste. It's going to say, do you want to put it in there? Yes, I do. It should show up right there, right below your main activity. If not, delete it and do it over again, okay? Now, what this class does, it uses JSoup to go out there once again and get information for you. If we look at the constructor of it, okay, the constructor of it receives two different parameters, okay? The first one is the exchange, or the, what is it, NYSE or whatever for New York Stock Exchange. The second one receives the symbol, okay? That's all you got to know. All we got to do is just create a new one, send it New York Stock Exchange, and send it GM, and it's going to give us information back about that, okay? If you want to take a look at this right here, I'll show you what that looks like. This is actually the page we're getting this information from. Let's see, it's right here, okay? And if you scroll down through it, okay, you're actually going to see where's GM, right? Let's see where's GM. Oh, GM is right. Right, GM, right there, okay? So it gets these pieces of information off of this web page, and it puts it into, if I can get back to my Android Studio here, puts it into these public variables. You'll see these in just a minute when we use these, okay? But anyway, I wrote a really cool class to help you just kind of fly right through this. Wonderful. So now we took and we added this class. We added that JSoup library. What do we got to do next here? Scroll down a little bit. Let's see. Oh, I lost my place. There, right there. Okay. We added that. We added that. Okay. The next thing we have to do is we have to add what they call permissions to our Android manifest. Go ahead and copy this little piece of code right here. Control C. What it is that we don't want every app just go out there and get information, because it could put a virus on your handheld, your Android device, okay? So therefore, what we do, if you go into your manifest here, we're going to say this one requires internet usage, so please let it use it, okay? We're going to paste it right there. Once again, I double-clicked on manifest. That got me to this Android manifest.xml. I'm going to add this in here. Now, adding permission doesn't turn the Wi-Fi on your Android device, your phone or whatever. You actually have to go into the settings app and you have to connect to Wi-Fi. If your device is not set up to Wi-Fi, this program will not run, okay? So in the end, if your program's not running, please check your Wi-Fi and make sure that it is connected. And if not, then if it is, we still got problems. So anyway, let me know. So anyway, we got that hooked up. We give permission. We scroll down a little further, okay? Now we're going to take and add this async, okay? And I'm going to walk you through this because it's important for you to understand what's going on here, just in case you want to create your own programs, apps that do that for you. Go ahead and scroll all the way down to the bottom right here. We still want to be what they call nested in this class, okay? So don't put it all the way down the bottom here. Otherwise, you aren't going to be able to get a hold of these public variables, which we need, okay? Right here, what we're going to do is type in private, okay? Private, and then I'm looking through my other code here. Here we go, private class, okay? Because we're creating another class. And we're going to call it get HTML. I made this rather generic so you can use this for other apps you want to make to get other pieces of HTML, okay? And what we're going to do then is we're going to say this extends, okay? And that's going to extend in this async right there, okay? And then just finish this up and then we'll talk about it. We're going to type in void, comma, void, comma, void, like that. Opening curly brace and hit enter. And we got an error. That's okay. Don't worry about it. Let's talk about it for just a minute. What I'm doing is I'm creating a new class called getHTML, and this is actually going to extend, or it's going to take in and inherit all of the powers of this class called async task, okay? Because what I want to do is I want to use this, but I also want to add a couple of my own methods that can do special things for me, okay? So I'm actually inheriting this async task. Now we're getting an error here because it says, well, you aren't calling any of its methods and you need to do that, okay? So let's do that right now. Let's call those, okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to call, first of all, the on right there, on pre. Make sure you get on pre-execute, okay? On pre-execute is something that's going to happen before anything else happens here. And you'll see just in a minute what we're going to put in there. Let me drag this down just a little bit. There we go. The next one we're going to do is we're going to do a in the background, okay? In background. Okay, right. Oh, it's do in background. I'm sorry, right there. And once again, you start typing, it'll paste it right in for you. Don't try to type this all in because you might make an error. And then we're going to do one more thing here. This is going to be on post, right there, on post execute. Okay, what we're going to do when this first pops up, what we want to do is we want to make a little spinner thing that's going to show up in the screen. It's going to spin until it downloaded everything from the internet, okay, and put stuff into your app, okay. And so therefore, on pre-execute here, go back into your instructions here because we're going to copy this code, okay. This section of code right here. Don't get that right there. Get just these right here, okay? Copy those. Paste those into our pre right here, right after the super on pre-execute, right there, just like that, okay? Now it doesn't know what this is. We haven't created it yet. Shame on me. What we need to do is create those right up here, okay? That's a process dialog. Whoop, I lost it right there. It is, okay? Now you may have noticed that there's a line through it. It's saying there's something new and better than this, but it's okay. I'm going to use the old one because this is a good example, I think. M right there, process dialog like that, semicolon. So we're creating a global process dialog because we want to start it here, we want to end it down here. So we have to make it global. What this does is it creates a new process dialog. Once again, it's a spinny thing. At the top, it's going to say loading internet info, and it's going to say loading here, okay? This indeterminate, okay, means I can actually say, yes, only run it for 30 seconds. If you can't do it, fail, okay? I'm not going to do that in this case. We're just going to run it the way it is, okay? And I just tell it to show. Wonderful. So that gets that going. Now, in the background, okay, make sure that you put your cursor right here because if you put it after return, it will never run. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new stock values, okay? Stock values. Oh, I got to turn it back on again. Shame on me. At the top, remember we made a global variable all the way to the top? Let's turn it on, okay, like that. And I got to put a semicolon at the end, don't I? Wonderful. Just like that. Call it back down the bottom. Now we can call it stock. Come on. STO, right, stock values is equal to a new stock with a capital stock values. And here we're going to send it our, let's see, start with the exchange, TOCK exchange, comma, stock symbol, just like that, semicolon. What that's going to do then is go out there and download the whole document, blah, 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 slow, slow, slow. When it's all done, then this post execute thing down here happens, okay? Here we want to take all this data from this stock values, put it into all of our text views and stuff like that. Let's go back into our, where are we right here? Right there. All of this code right here, starting with this text view, all the way down to there, okay? Just like that. Copy that. Control C. And paste that right there. Control V. Text view doesn't know what that is. Put your cursor on there and hit Alt Enter, and also for this image view down. Doesn't know what that is either. Just like that. Wonderful. Okay. Now we've done this before. We're creating aliases of text views and giving them names. Right? When we're setting the text to, oh, look at this. Stock values. Oh, okay. If I send it to New York Stock Exchange and GM, it's going to come back with all this information here, this name, the high, low, and that's all public. So therefore I can get it just by saying stock values dot that variable name, okay? So I'm setting all those text views, and I'm also getting, if you look at right there, I'm actually getting a bitmap too, aren't I? It's setting that image view to that bitmap. And finally what it does, it takes and shuts off this process dialog. Hey, oh, one more thing. Wait, before you run away, thinking you're all done. Ha, Everything's all set, but if you run it, it's going to look just like when you ran it last time, okay? Because we aren't telling this async class to run, okay? Let's go ahead and put your cursor right here. Now, the cool thing about this set on item select listener, not only does this run when you change the item from that spinner, but it also takes and runs when you first run your application, or if you turn your screen even, okay? So therefore, what we're going to do is we're going to take in, right here, we're going to call our async method right there, okay? And to do that, all we have to do is say a new, what's the name of our class? Get HTML, okay, dot execute. Now you're done. Go ahead and run your program. Should work. See what happens. Hey, mine worked. How about yours? Let me know if you got issues. Make sure that you do go into settings and turn your Wi-Fi on, okay? See ya.